Howdy there, ladies and gentlemen of the YTPC. It's your boy, Treetop Piper, coming back at you. And today I wanted to go ahead and do the first impression for the Vieux Carré, as I've had a request from Unicorn Piper. And also I wanted to make an announcement. I finally hit the 300 subscriber mark. Woohoo! Which I'm actually, I'm quite amazed. I never thought I would reach that point. Quite surprising. And I want to do a giveaway, but I don't want to do a tobacco. I think I'm going to do a pipe. I'm going to do a brand new pipe. I'm not sure what kind of pipe or what pipe it will be yet, but it will be a nice pipe. And anyway, details on that will come later on once I figured out exactly what I want to do. But anyway, on with the first impression. Here we got Vieux Carré, which is a complex English, traditional English tobacco with about a year and a half of tobacco age on it, and I can tell that it's definitely had some fermenting time because there is a bulge to it. I believe it's an English flake. So let's go ahead and pop this bad boy. Oh yeah, there was a little hiss there. Little hiss, which is always a good sign in my mind. Anyway. Quite an interesting smell indeed. How in the heck do you get this thing out without messing up the darn tobacco? That's what I want to know. There we go. I just, if it's since it's supposed to be in flake form, I'd prefer not to damage the flakes, you know. That's just me, though. I mean, I'm sure some people couldn't care less. But I guess I'm kind of a stickler. Ooh. Very sweet smelling. There must be some kind of a additive or some kind of a top note, but presentation is on point. Very much so on point. I mean, it's just beautiful looking tobacco. Trying to see if I can somehow, here we go, this is what I'll do, because I can get it to focus via the watch on certain aspects. Man, and that is just beautiful tobacco. To my mind, anyway. It's a broken flake, at least to my mind. And once again, it feels just about ready to rock. I mean, really and truly. And rather than break it up, well, maybe I should just go ahead and do a little bit of a rub out here. Man, just nice looking flakes here. Or just a nice looking tobacco, that is. Lovely, lovely flakes. Cornell and Deal style broken flakes. I see a little bit of Latakia in there, but I don't see a crazy amount. Like I said, there's definitely it looks like there's a lot of brights in here. Because I seem to be getting like a bright Virginia kind of a smell, I guess you would say. Real sweet. I don't know. That may not be a topping. I'm not sure. But we'll go ahead and give it a go and see how she smokes. Um, Typically, I would pause it here and let it dry, but being as dry as it is, seems to be already, I'm just going to go ahead and spark it up. Hmm. Different. Let me get this char light ready. You never can tell from the first puff, I must say. Mm. Pretty sweet. It's got a very nice sweetness to it. I would say more of a natural Virginia sweetness, though. You know, in between this and the small batch straight up English, I think Cornell and Deal has a pretty good concept of what a traditional English is, because right here, like it says, a traditional English tobacco with a flavor every bit as complex as the quarter's own diverse atmosphere. Well, this reminds me of the straight up English. Only I think it doesn't have as much red Virginia in it as the straight up English. Although there, I can see some. There's definitely some in there. But I'm getting less tang, more sweetness. There's just a hint of smokiness from the Latakia, similar to the straight up English. Wasn't a super Latakia forward English. And another thing, it seems to me like they don't really typically include Orientals in these types. They're what Cornell and Deal considers a traditional English or a straight up English doesn't entail Orientals. Um, at least it seems that way, from what I understand from the blends that I've had made by Cornell and Deal, where it says straight up or traditional English. Lovely. I'm trying to think of what this reminds me of. I would almost say that this is more of a Virginia forward, like, I want to say that it reminds me of Quiet Nights. The presentation reminds me of Quiet Nights, but I think this has a much higher Virginia content than Quiet Nights. And I don't think that this has I think Quiet Nights has an Oriental component as well, which I'm not sure if this does or not. I can't detect it. Hmm. I guess maybe there is a splash of Oriental in there now that I think about it. Now that I really start getting into the blend, I really like the way this looks. I really like the way this looks. Just has a nice complex look to it. Many different colors. Many different it's like, I guess, what Cornell and Deal calls their flake slash chip cut, where you get these little chips of flakes. But I really like that. You know, And to me, that just seems like a very diverse flake right there. You have uh, several different types of tobacco in there. First of all, and it's like a loose pressing. It's not a super. They're not really solid flakes. They're almost. It's almost like Penzance, where it just falls apart just by looking at it. But I'm seeing a little crystallization here and there. And I did buy a second one of these, and I probably will. I will be buying more of these. Again, Cornell and Deal. They seem to just know how to make a satisfying blend. Um, they're not a lot of their blends. They don't blow my mind like flavor wise, like say some of the Smoker's Haven or Germain's blends, but they're really satisfying. I really enjoy smoking them. I find myself going for them a lot. Like that straight up English. If that was a normal in production blend, I would smoke that every day. And like I said, this actually kind of reminds me of that straight up English, but I think it's a little sweeter, and I like that. I like I like both of them, but I like how this one's sweet too. I would say it's more of a mild English, a sweet mild English. I don't it I don't perceive a topping. When I smelt it, I kind of thought there must be a top note because it is really sweet smelling, like really sweet smelling, almost like a fruit drink, like grape Kool Aid or Kool Aid. It's like how Kool Aid smells, really sweet. But um, and it does translate to the smoke, but not as strong. I still get the same flavor that I smell out of the tin, but it's really subdued in the smoke. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was just a really sweet, a high sugar content bright Virginia in that they used blending it, or I don't know. I couldn't tell you, but I don't think there's a topping. And if there is a topping, it's not off-putting. And to me, I don't care if there's a topping or not. Just that there's a topping doesn't bother me. It's as does it stand out? Does it bother me? A top note doesn't just because a blend has a top note doesn't automatically mean I won't like it. The top note just has to disagree with me. And this one, if it does have a top note, it doesn't disagree with me. I it doesn't strike me as having a top dressing or a casing. It just seems like in English where they used the proportion of bright Virginias is higher than typical. Even than that straight up English, the straight up English was more tangy and cream. It was just a tangier English, traditional English flavor. They're both more or less Virginia forward, whereas this one feels like it's bright Virginia forward, and the straight up English feels like it's red Virginia forward. But they're both great. I could see myself buying an 8 ounce tub of this and storing it for 10 years and seeing what it's like in 10, actually doing what they suggest doing 10 to 15 years in the cellar. Um, Still holding that sweetness too. Mm. It is a lovely smoke, and I'm really becoming a fan of Cornell and Deal. Really, when I purchase their blends, I purchase the ones that I think that I'll like. You know, I'm not a big burley guy, so I tend to stay away from those blends, although I do like some. But all the ones that I have purchased, I thought were outstanding. The Vieux Carré, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'd probably sound like an idiot pronouncing it wrong. And the small batch, all the small batches, Sansa Grove, Straight Up English, Carolina Red Flake, Bayou Morning. There have been a few that I didn't like, but they have so many blends, you're not going to like them all. And they have something for everybody. They do aromatics, they do bulk, they do small batch hand blended stuff. Um, they cover all the bases, and I think that they deserve credit for that, and I applaud them for that. And this is really a good sweet mild English. I could see this being an all day smoke easily. Doesn't seem to be very bitey, even though it is sweet. This and that straight up English had that same all day smoke characteristic. Um, and I really like that. Only certain blends kind of fit that category to me. And I've noticed that a lot of burley blends fit that category as all day smokes that I really enjoy just smoking them. It's not the flavor, but it's just that they burn well. You don't have to pay a lot of attention to them. Good for when you're multitasking, reading a book, stuff like that. And I find myself doing those kind of activities a lot more lately. So stuff like this, and the straight up English, and things like that really come in handy because it sucks to burn through expensive tobacco like smokers. I've been burning through Smokers Haven tins like nobody's business, and it really sucks because I love it, and it's hard to get. And I'm glad that Cornell and Deal makes good blends to offset that. You know, to give me something good to smoke on a regular basis, something that I don't have to hunt down. Um, Really a fantastic blend here, though. Like I said, a mild English, and it's sweet. It's not savory like early morning pipe or something like that. It's not really leathery. It's more of a sweet um, uh, Virginia, bright Virginia. Almost reminds me of like Brighton or something like that. Really, really sweet Virginias with a splash of Latakia and a little bit of red Virginia, and that's what you've got with Vieux Carré. And that's why I think that they say it's a part of the Cellar series because it's so Virginia forward. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off there, guys. I hope you enjoyed the first impressions. It really is a good tobacco. And there is quite a bit of complexity here. You know, it's starting to. I just got a little tang there, so you get sweetness, tanginess, a little bit of smokiness, um, and it kind of dances. You know, in and out, in and out. You get different flavors at different times. So, um, you know, if you're looking for a light English blend, Virginia forward English blend, I think this wouldn't be a bad start, a bad place to go. Or if you're new to Englishes, this would probably be good too. Even an aromatic smoker would probably appreciate this as well. But I'm going to go ahead and cut it off there, guys. I've been babbling and rambling on about Vieux Carré for about 20 minutes now. Stay tuned for the 300 sub giveaway video that should be coming up here shortly. And until next time, guys, Treetop Piper over and out.